started. Good afternoon. We're very happy that you're here today. We're very thankful to the Education Center for presenting this information for us tonight. I am Ms. Hudson. I'm one of the counselors here at the high school. Ms. Foyno is in the back. Mrs. Perryman is also here. She had to run a quick errand, but we're here to answer any questions that we can on a regular basis. If you have questions or things that you would like to hear about, please let us know, because that's how we are able to work with our different community resources and bring information to you. So if you've got an idea, let us know, and we'll do our best to get a presentation together for you. This is Ms. Jill Holmes, and she is the program coordinator for the Education Center, and she has graciously agreed to do our presentation tonight, and we're very thankful to have her.
All right. Mom. Did you push it once?
Yeah. Did it?
Hello?
No.
No. I keep pushing it, and the little green thing is blinking, and I push it. Ah. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I know, right? I'm going to have to hold it really far away. I'm not used to speaking with a microphone. I'm used to doing this just talking to people, and I'm also not used to holding all this stuff. So, my name is Jill Holmes. I work for the University of Maryland University College. We are located on the second floor of the post office. So if you ever want to come see us, the classes that we have here on Yongsan will physically be in that building on the second floor. We're there Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We can make special arrangements to come out to briefings. If any of the spouses, FRG, anything like that, you would like more information, or the soldiers, you want us to come to your unit and brief people, we are more than happy to do so. Just give us a few handful of times, and then we will work with you, we will come to you, we'll bring our nice PowerPoints and all of our handouts to answer all of your questions for you. This week is American Education Week, so it is a fantastic time if you've thought about being a Maryland student, because until November 20th, we are waiving our $50 undergraduate new student fee. So, if you have any soldiers, any friends who are interested, or children who are interested, please feel free to come by, take advantage of this. You do not have to take classes if you do this. This is not an obligation. This is you applying to the university, getting the information in the system, and waiving that $50 new student fee. So, I have handouts with all the information I'm going to talk about. I have handouts of classes, scholarship information, lots of different things. So, we have been here located physically in Asia for over 60 years. This year we're actually celebrating our 60th year here as the Asia division. We have a Europe division, we have lots of stateside locations. We even have downrange locations, so hopefully wherever you are, you have someone like me you can talk to face to face. Hopefully you can take classes face to face. If not, we will like to direct you to where you can reach out to the people and have like an online chat or something like that to finish your education online if you choose to do so. But we do offer face-to-face and online classes. We have certificates, associates, bachelors. We have one MBA program. That is the only graduate program we have here in Asia. The rate for the undergrad is $212 per credit hour. For grad school is $292 per credit hour. Not too bad for a grad school program, if I say so myself. I've seen a lot of different ranges. For the undergrad program, you do not have to buy any textbooks. They're included in the cost. So that's something that you don't have to worry about out of pocket. We also are regionally accredited. If you've never heard about accreditation before, there's two types you normally deal with. One is regional, one is national. Regional is a higher standard, a higher level. Ivy League schools, you can't pay for something higher than regional. Regional is as high as it goes. That being said, a lot of students may use us as the interim and transfer to the school they want to go if they get back stateside, or if they find a different degree with a different school they'd rather go with. Those credits normally do transfer. I can never say always, I can never say words like that because I don't work for every school and I can't tell you how it will transfer, but we're on the same level, the same accreditation. So you don't have to worry about this transfer of credits even being able to apply or not, like you would if it was possibly national going to regional. So that's one, more peace of mind for you. We have the National Testing Center. It is actually affiliated with the University of Maryland. You do not have to be a University of Maryland student to go to the National Testing Center. They offer things like the CLEP test and the DSST. These are multiple choice tests that you can take to test out of college subjects. For active duty military, your first attempt in every subject is free. Fantastic. No time and service requirements on that. You go through the system. We have a website to register for the test. You show up and you take a test. same location that we are, second floor of the post office. And if you pass the test, then you get credit for that class. DSST can sometimes be upper level credit, which is fantastic. If you are not active duty, the fee per test is going to be $105 for every single test. That bottom part, though, is the most important. It is up to every student to do the research and figure out what CLEP test and DSST test their school will accept. Of course, if it's us, please come ask us and we'll direct you to the information. We have an academic advisor on site, and they will double check everything and they will sit down with you and help you figure it out. However, if it's a different school, you have to ask for them. You have to make sure they accept the test and then the score. This is also a tricky part if you're talking about changing your mind with a bunch of different schools. Every school sets what test they will accept and what score they will accept. So if you get that score needed with us, it may or may not take care of the credit for another school. You would have to ask the school and then see if it would transfer over. There's a lot of different moving parts, so I know I'm going to throw a lot of information at you, but please come talk to us if you have any questions about this, and of course I'm going to be here afterwards to answer questions as well. Academic advisor, we have one on site. We have one at all the different bases where we have locations here throughout Korea. It's not just Yongsan, we have other bases as well. We can make appointments with them for the telephone, they can call you via email, different things like that. She is still going through training, so she's not available for walk-in appointments, but when she is, you can walk in and ask her questions as well. Things like, what classes do I need for my degree? These credits you told me would transfer, why does this one not transfer for the military students? Your joint services credit transfer, things like that. They can help you answer those questions. For anyone that has any college credit or any military training, if you bring us a copy of your unofficial transcripts, the joint services transcript or any other college transcript, bring it to us, tell us what degree you're interested in for free. We'll evaluate that through our advising team and email it to you. No obligation. You don't have to take classes with us ever if you don't want to, but at least you would know if you ever did how those credits would line up. We'll always do that. We'll email it straight to you. And also, I already told you, but I'll tell you again, second floor of the post office, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And close U.S. holidays, but we're there for all the training holidays if you want to come by then too. So, who can take classes with University of Maryland, University College Asia? Because this is a phone call we get multiple times a day. For people in here who are active duty, dependents of active duty, you have SOFA status, bring us your ID card, things like that, so we can verify. Let's see, dependents of family, retirees, 23 or older, there are some age ranges that you do have to keep in effect. Sometimes students want to be full-time with us to continue to have their ID card, and we can talk to you all about that as well, if you want to come to the office. And of course, the military, you know, they already have the SOFA status, they have their ID cards. So if you work for the USFK, different people who are maybe Korean citizens want to take classes and they have to prove how they can come on base. Basically, you have to prove how you can come on base. You have access to base to take the classes that are face-to-face, even if you want to only take the ones that are online. So that's something else. But we can help you if you have any questions about the documentation. The great thing about our online application, once you start going through the process, you answer a whole lot of questions. The system knows what to then ask you. It'll send you emails with things that say, we need this, click on this link here, this is who you submit it to, or go to your field office if you have any questions. So the system really does help you out if you ever do want to get started with the school. So, copy of orders or a copy of the visa. So for students who are not active duty, that's something they can bring to our office, but again, the system is going to let them know. And so they'll know when to bring it to us, but they can also, bring it by and we'll scan copies for them, submit things for them. If you ever have to submit anything to the school whatsoever and you don't know how to do it, or you want help doing it, bring it to us. We'll help you do it. Because we have our side where we can submit different documents for you as well, or we will teach you how to do it. So that's not a big deal. We will also teach you how to go through Army Ed if you have access to that. We'll teach you how to enroll in classes through the Maryland system. We want to show you the right way to do it so that you know, so that you feel confident to do it on your own. The one thing we cannot do is fill out scholarship applications that are requiring essays and things like that, because we can't do that part of it. But of course, everyone wants to know about the FAFSA, and I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes, but we will help you one-on-one, sit down with that if you need any help as well. High school students who take classes with Maryland with a written letter of recommendation from their high school guidance counselor, and they have to have a cumulative grade point average of at least 3.5 for their high school related classes. That will allow them to have what's called concurrent enrollment, so that they can actually be taking college classes, and then that way they can see also if they could possibly take some of those CLEP tests to help them out as well, of course at a cost if they're not active duty. But those are the two requirements that they must meet. They can enroll in a maximum of 1 3 3-credit freshman level class per term. So we don't have semesters, we have sessions. We have 8-week classes, and we even have what's called an intersession. Starting December 19th, we have 2 3-week classes. Those are 3 credit hours apiece. You have lots of different opportunities to take lots of different classes, online, face-to-face, but basically every 8 weeks, about a week between that, they have a new schedule posted for face-to-face, and we have over 1,000, maybe 2,000 classes that are online. But that is a limitation. Of course, this process can take a long time for the student, if they are in high school, to get the documents that they need to submit, as well as apply to the school, as well as have anything else the school might ask for. So we asked them, I know it says must, and I should have underlined must and put it in red, 30 days before the class starts. So if our classes, like I said, if they start December 19th and you have any students that are high school aged, or anyone that's interested in this part of this process, to come and talk to us now, so we can get everything updated in the system as it needs to be, because of course, entering into high school can take some time. Sorry, entering college can take some time too. Financial aid is any money that a student receives in order to pay for their college expenses from a source other than their family. So, need-based. FAFSA, to see if you qualify for a Pell Grant, is need-based. That is based on the estimated family contribution. Things like what you would make your salary if you have one. If you claim your children for your income tax, it includes your salary as well. So there's lots of different things to consider for high school students, especially who are interested in filling out the FAFSA. Questions that get really, I guess you could say, a little more in depth. Like, how would my parents' income, if they make this, affect me? We have a headquarters in Yokota, Japan, and we have our people who are specialists in financial aid located there. We can reach out to them for you, put you in contact with them to answer those questions, because FAFSA has a whole scale of what your income has to be and what your school has to cost. Lots of different things that take into consideration to see what kind of funding you would qualify for. Non-need-based, student does not have to demonstrate financial need for financial aid. This would be something like if you have a religious affiliation and you found an organization based on that and possibly a letter of recommendation, or an essay would grant you that money that you would not have to pay back. Pell Grant is what they're trying to see if they qualify for a FAFSA usually, because a grant is money you don't have to pay back, and there's lots of other scholarships as well. That would be money that you would not have to pay back. So in order to receive the financial aid, usually you have to be a U.S. citizen, all these different things. One issue that does pop up sometimes is males, they have to register with the Selective Service, and a lot of soldiers that come in sometimes and they fill these things out too. If you answer this question the wrong way, they're going to ask for a copy of your military orders. There's lots of different ways to rectify things through FAFSA, so the system lets you know if it does need any additional documentation for you as well. So that's a lot of different bullet points. But this is what the website looks like. We have a school code that links it directly to our school code. If anyone wants to come by Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and fill it out in our office, we're happy to sit with you at a computer. We have 4 computers. We'll help you fill it out. We'll try to troubleshoot if you have any problems or any questions. It does ask you things like your 2015 address on your income tax to verify you, so it can pull your tax data. So that being said, if you already have that on you when you come to fill it out, that's very helpful, because you don't want to have to go through, if you can, to have to fill out every line item from your income tax. If you know that, again, 2015 address when you fill out your taxes, that'll really help you out as well. But we have handouts for this. You don't have to try to remember the school code or the website, anything like that. We're happy to help you and give that to you afterwards. Different sources of financial aid. The government, state, institutional, and private. They all have their own different bullet points you have to meet. For a state, you may have to be a state resident. For different things like the private, you may have to write an essay. Every scholarship has its own deadline, has its own amount that it would award you. It also has its own, think of it as terms and conditions. So, if you apply for a scholarship and they say in that scholarship and you sign it and you agree to it and you accept the money, you have to have a GPA of a certain GPA. If you do not have that and you accept the money, you may find yourself in a very bad situation where you owe either that company or the school back the money. Things like FAFSA, if you accept a Pell Grant and then you withdraw from all of your classes, you could be showing a debt to the school or a debt to the government. So please take the time and read. If your children or if you have students that you're helping don't quite understand what they're agreeing to, please encourage them to seek the legal counsel that they have here on base that they can reach out to, because we want them to be informed. But everything the student takes the money, everything that student accepts as far as the money goes, they are agreeing to those terms and conditions and those kinds of things. If the onus is completely on them. So if you would help us with that, I would Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. Grants, scholarships do not have to be paid back as long as you're taking classes and you're still successful with those classes. Different things like the VA benefits, if you fail a class, you can contact the VA and see if they want any of that benefit back. But things flat out, if you withdraw from the class after you started and you accepted all the funding, things like that, or those kind of the situations, you're going to find yourself in usually a bad situation. Loans, please, ma'am.
I just wanted to stress that it's important that you reach out to the schools that you're interested in. There are times when schools have money set aside that they don't necessarily advertise. So if you're interested in like a certain program at a school or a certain college within the university, reach out to them and say, you know, hey, I'm this student, I'm interested in this, my grades are this, you know, I've done this kind of community service. Are there any things that you can offer me? When you reach out to a school, also make contact with the admissions office. There are some schools that will allow students who are part of the military and have lived abroad or are living abroad. There are some schools that will offer in-state tuition. It's not something that they necessarily advertise again, but you need to reach out to them and let them know your situation, and then you can know if they can reply to you with what they can offer. So just know that they don't always put everything out there for you. You need to make contact, and they need to know that you are interested.
University of Maryland, we have what's called a FERPA agreement. If any of the parents in here, you've got students that are taking classes, if you want to be able to come and talk to us on their behalf about grades, about anything on their account, you come to us, you come to us and you get the page that's the FERPA agreement. The student has to fill it out and return it. Then we can actually look on their account if you do want to come and talk to us. Otherwise, we can't talk to you. If you come and you ask us questions about your student's account and the student refuses to sign that FERPA agreement, there's nothing that we can do, and I'm very sorry, but we have to turn you away because it's protected legal information. But that, again, it's called a FERPA document. If you ever need to hear that word again, please come to me. But like she was saying, we have a lot of in-house scholarships that are untapped resources, which means funding that is sitting there that no one qualifies for. But no one knows what they qualify for because they don't look for it. It's very easy to find on our website, but you do have to apply. If that funding isn't used, hopefully it rolls over to the next year. But if not, it may just go away and be reabsorbed back into the university. But I think our website is very user-friendly. Every other school out there, though, every website is different. We look at all different kinds of websites every day. It may be a little bit hard to find, but hopefully they do have information handy so we can reach out to them if they are stateside and ask someone there to email you that information back. Loans must be repaid. There's all different kinds of loans. When you fill out the FAFSA, it will tell you, hopefully, if you qualify for a Pell Grant, which is that free federal funding. It's also going to say unsubsidized, subsidized loans. Those are two different decisions, and you can choose if you want to accept the loan to help you out, but loans must be repaid. So, I know that's a little bit tiny for the different fonts up there, but in order to qualify for University of Maryland scholarships, and they do pre-screen you for scholarships, we do try to be proactive through the system and let you know if you would qualify for a scholarship, but it's still always a great idea to make sure you're looking at these different things. Undergraduate GPA of 3.0, graduate GPA 3.0, undergrad already have taken 15 credits, graduate 9 credits behind you. So you may not have access, you will not have access to that funding in the very beginning. However, if you take a few classes, don't forget about it, still try to take a look at it and see. All these different outside scholarships, there's lots of other funding that's out there. There's different databases as well for scholarships you can put information into, and they'll generate a whole big list of all different kinds of scholarships that you can take a look at, and then you can apply for. So this is how you find our Maryland scholarships. If you type in that web address at the bottom, or if you're like me, I always Google UMUC Asia, and it's the first one that comes up. There's a dark blue red, like a bar at the top. As you can see, apply now, bright yellow button on the right-hand side. Like I said, until November 20th, the application fee is waived for the undergraduate, say $50. You hover over the little cost and financial aid. I don't know if I have a laser. No, I don't want to miss that. I do. See, right there. Cost and financial aid, it's to the left. There's going to be financial aid, scholarships, MyCAA, I'll talk about in a moment, and the Veterans Benefit is there as well. MyCAA, My Career Advancement Account. This is an account that spouses of service members, if they meet the qualifications, can apply for a $4,000 scholarship. Qualifications are listed there. I have a handout as well. It tells you about the different rank your service member would have to have. It tells you how the funding is limited. It is an account you create. You go through that account, you get in contact through that account with a career counselor, and they will contact you and talk about everything. Then the funding is applied directly to the school. Some people come in with questions about this, but we have to turn them back to the site because unfortunately the funding is made available to us, the site is not. So we can't see any information that spouses have put in there. But they are very helpful. They have 1-800 numbers and different email addresses after you create that account. So the application process for VA benefits. If a service member has transferred benefits to their spouse or to their dependents, that person, as well as a service member, would have to fill out a VONAPP. The VONAPP is an application to apply for your benefits. You don't have to fill that out to transfer your benefits, but you do have to fill it out if you want access to your benefits. You have to know things like the school you want to go to. You also have to know things like the degree program you want to go with, your mailing address, your bank account, all that different information. That is something that you need to know before you fill it out. If you fill it out, and let's say you want to go to Maryland while you're here for maybe a year. If you want to change to a different school stateside, you go back to the VONAPP. From a drop-down, you fill out change for the program, give them your updated information so that they know what tuition they're being paying to the school. So the VONAPP link, of course, we have a handout for that as well, so you don't have to remember that website address. Nature of a transfer of VA benefits. So if you're a service member and you have transferred benefits to your spouse, they can use the benefit immediately. They may use the benefit while the service member who's transferred the benefits is still active. And after they separate, they will not receive a monthly housing allowance. Spouses, while that service member is active, after they separate, will not receive a housing allowance, okay? They can use the benefit up to 15 years after the service member has separated, which is amazing because post-9/11 benefit with the tuition, it's capped at different amounts, and we do have VA representatives that are located, I think, in the ACS building. I have their contact if you'd like that. And we do have a transition counselor who is working in the Education Center as well. We can put you in contact with them if you want to talk about that in more detail. Of course, the children. They can only use that transferred benefit after the service member who has transferred the benefit has been in for at least 10 years. They may use the benefit while the eligible individual remains in armed service and after the separation. They have to have already had a high school diploma or 18 years old. They will receive the monthly housing allowance even if the active duty component is still on active duty. And they may not use the benefit after reaching 26 years of age. It expires. They have a window of opportunity that is much narrower than the spouses do. Spouses, if the benefit is transferred, use it immediately and up to 15 years after the service member has separated. Children, though, not. In case you're curious, of course, I have a slide in here that's going to tell you our housing allowance amount for Maryland. I'll get to that in a moment, but please keep in mind the spouses do not have access to that, but the children do. There's also a ADSO, if you don't know what that is, additional time in service, usually that goes along with that part. When you transfer the benefits, please reach out to the VA, though, because that is something that's outside of, usually what the school deals with, because it doesn't really have much to do with the university itself. VONAPP takes 4 to 8 weeks to process. You can still fill it out if you're going to take classes that are coming up pretty quickly. But once you do fill it out online, the VA mails you a certified letter. Of course, our headquarters is going to want a copy of that letter, and we'll help you submit that. Or the email address is there on the very bottom of that slide as well. It's referred to as a certificate of eligibility. That's going to list your name and then the school's information on there. So when we submit it, the school knows that they can let the VA know about your tuition and how that's actually going to be paid. You also, as a student, have to request certification for your class. So anyone using VA benefits has to enroll in classes, and we will be happy to show you and teach you how to do that. And you have to request certification for VA benefits. So enrolling gets you in the class, requesting certification lets the VA know you're taking classes every single time. Of course, we would love to walk you through this, teach you the right way to do it, but this is something that the student has to do. We cannot do it on behalf of the student. You can adjust your certification. You drop a class. From a drop-down, you click a button that says adjust, and you click submit. It's very straightforward in my opinion, but like I said, we're happy to teach you how to do it and walk you through it the first time. Overview real quick, the VA pays Maryland directly for the tuition fee that they're going to pay. The student, if they qualify, would get the monthly housing allowance amount and the book stipend. If a student does receive a housing allowance, it's based on the location of the class. So I'm going to get to the slide. Monthly housing allowance is really important. A whole lot of people ask us a lot of times what the rate is. If you take classes with the University of Maryland and you're using the VA benefits and you qualify for the monthly housing allowance, it's based on Adelphi, Maryland, which is not too shabby. It's about $2,300 per month. If you go online, though, fully online with no face-to-face component whatsoever, it's about $800 a month. To be full-time, you have to have 6 credits with us. That means usually one class is face-to-face, either face-to-face full-time or face-to-face hybrid class. Hybrid classes meet once a week, and one online. So 2 classes at a time every 8 weeks, that equals full-time status. This is kind of a breakdown. The percentage off to the right-hand side, if the student does qualify for that housing allowance, the percentage is going to directly affect that housing allowance amount. So let's say, for example, if you're taking one class and it is at a 60% rate of pursuit, they're getting 60% of the $2,300 a month, or 60% of the $800 a month. That's how that works. The graduate level is on the bottom. Most of our graduate, well, all of our graduate MBA classes at the moment are considered 6 hours, 6 credit hours. So that would equal the full-time 100% rate of pursuit if you pick up the component that has the face-to-face part with it as well. So, housing allowance is not like a paycheck. It is paid at the end of the month. It is paid after the fact. It is even based on the days of the month that the session actually runs. So, for example, I said earlier, we have December 19th intersession classes that are starting. If you are using your benefit and you qualified for the housing allowance and are taking classes that start December 19th as well as one online, you get paid for December 19th through December 31st, but actually taking out the days for Christmas at the end of December. That's how that works. It is not a first of the month, the full amount. It is based on the time of your school, the rate of pursuit, if you're meeting the full-time status, if you have the face-to-face component, there's a lot of different stuff that you have to consider. But they do the partial housing allowance, that is for certain. So students will need to contact the VA to see if they're eligible for benefits, any discrepancies between the housing allowance they think they should get versus the housing allowance they actually got. When the VA will send any funds to Maryland, how many months they have left. The VA can have access to that information, help you find it, or give you the information hopefully over the phone or via email. We can actually tell you if we've received your certificate of eligibility, if we have received funding from the VA, how to maximize your housing allowance. Of course, we talked about that in depth a little bit. And also, if your certification has been sent to the VA, we can show you how to find these different things through the student portal as well. If it is yourself or if it is your children that are using or dependents using any of those benefits, we can help them find the different information. Okay, so I'm staying up here for questions, of course. I know that was kind of hot and heavy. There's a lot of information I threw at you. I have handouts up here. We're having a symposium on Friday of this week. One of our doctors who's actually, I think, from Dakota, Japan, is coming to talk about different social science degrees, things like political science, psychology, sociology, things like that. Are they truly considered a science, or is that more of a misleading concept? So I have information, of course, that's free. I have our intersession that starts December 19th. I have the January 16th classes. That's our big session. It's 8 weeks that's coming up. We are hiring building monitors. We are hiring adjunct faculty. I have those handouts up here as well. I have this spouse information for my CAA, financial aid handouts, CLEP tests, all kinds of stuff. So this is the end of my presentation. I'm not going to make anybody raise hands to ask questions, but I also have Troy University with me as well. Do you want to say anything on that? It's really sensitive.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Alina Shaw. I'm the program coordinator for Troy University, and I do not have a PowerPoint today. However, I just wanted to stop by and let you know that we offer the Master's of Science in International Relations. It's a 36 credit program, a total of 12 courses, and you have 3 concentrations you may choose from, either global studies, national security affairs, or regional affairs in Asia. And there are 5 terms per academic year, and 1 term is 9 weeks long. However, you meet only for 2 weekends, Saturday, Sunday, from 9 to 1800. It's a web-enhanced course, so you would get your assignment on the first day of your term, and you'll meet only for 2 weekends. And our Classes for the upcoming term starts in January 9th. However, pre-registration has already started yesterday, November 14th. So if you are interested in the program, please feel free to come by our office. We're located in room 211 in the Education Center above the post office in 2212. And we also have a free seminar. It's actually tomorrow, it's really soon, but if you are interested, please feel free to come by during lunch hours from 11:30 to 1300. Dr. Pinkston, our guest speaker, is our full-time professor for the MSIR program, and he'll be speaking on the third offset of Bronx space security. It would be a great chance to speak to me regarding the program and also Dr. Pinkston, the professor. And like I mentioned earlier, please feel free to contact me.
Great, thank you. Is there anything else you want to touch on?
Does anyone have any questions